Hello everyone, myself Shweta Shetty, working in the department of ISC, MITM. So, in the previous class we were discussed regarding the software process models. So, accordingly we have listed out the three models. One thing is waterfall model and the second one is the incremental model and the third one is the spiral model. So, why we require this particular software process model is the important thing. So, basically in order to analyze the when to use these particular models and how it should be implemented in the software engineering projects is the big deal. So, in order to analyze that we have come up by the three kinds of the models. So, basically that has been listed out accordingly on the basis of the requirements of the customers. So, one thing to say is the all about the waterfall model. So, in the previously we have discussed that is the waterfall model in a summarized to say where this will be depending on the requirements will be collected and basically the designing will be started and accordingly the integration and the system testing will be performed and accordingly the testing phases will be working on and finally the operation maintenance will be performed. And the advantages of the waterfall model was all about where for the each of the phases we used to get the documentation and after the one phase documentation we used to move further. That is why where it was following the structure of the waterfall. Hence the name was given as the waterfall model. But the thing is the disadvantages we have seen is the only that particular kind of waterfall model will be basically used for the small projects. We were not able to deal with the big projects. So, and one more disadvantages of the waterfall model was all about where once the requirements should be changed again the phase should be started from the beginning. That was really a difficult task to perform. So, in order to analyze that finally a second kind of software process model was built. So, in order to overcome this particular disadvantages. So, on working to that particular model the second types of model was the all about your incremental model. So, you should know how to use this particular incremental model and what are the advantages and what are the disadvantages. Basically the incremental model was built to give the disadvantage what we have observed in the waterfall model where the backtracking was not possible. Again it was possible but the thing is it should start from the scratch. So, it takes the much of the time as well as the cost. So, that made the difficulty to bring out the projects. So, in order to overcome that particular problem the incremental model was built in such a way that you can observe with the figures. That is you have the outline description followed by the concurrent activities. Here the sum of the phases what we have observed in the waterfall model that will be repeated here also, but the way what we are going to use is the different way. So, that is the thing, we have the outline description followed by the concurrent activities. So, what are the concurrent activities? Basically that will be performed in the incremental model is the all over your specification, development and validation. So, those are the interlinked. So, they are interdependent on this particular concurrent activities. Hence, it works with on the both the directions. So, hence it is a cycle that follows to change the requirements and accordingly the project will be built. So, in order to analyze that what happened, they have basically created in the three forms of structure. One thing is outline description and the second thing is all about specification, development and validation and the third is initial version, intermediate version and final version. So, you may have a doubt why does the version things followed been here. So, why we require these versions? So, basically as we have seen as I already said in our waterfall model where once the phases is being created the documentation is done and that will be followed to the second phase, but actually does not work. So, what happens? We need to follow on the requirements of the customers. Basically for the customization of the requirements of the customers what happened? They tried this particular structure. So hence what they did, they have divided into 3 versions, that is the initial version, intermediate version and the final version. So if you are going to follow with perspective of the versions, what is this initial version? So whenever the specifications or the requirements that will be discussed by the customers, that will be taken by the software engineers, and accordingly what happens, that will be followed by the, that will be released as the initial version. During this particular initial version, if suppose a customer requires some of the specifications to be added, even though it has been developed and released as the initial version, if suppose the requirements to be added on, during that time you can do that. Hence you can observe it is the arrow mark where specification will be given and it will be developed and given as the initial version. If suppose some of the specifications or the requirements to be added during that time, where that can be added by the specification phase, that is the concurrent activity. So that will be followed by, even though in a specification also I can change my requirements. Then the second phase, that is the development phase. As I already said, in a waterfall model, once it has been developed, once it has been tested and deployed, we cannot change. But here there is an option. So in the phase of development, suppose the specification, the initial version has been said okay. So the second version, that is the development stage, if suppose again you need to change some of the requirements and the required data. So during that time, during even in the development stage where it is called as the intermediate version, there is a chance to change the requirements as well as they can add on the requirements and you can develop the project or the product. So in order to do that, there is a second option, that is the intermediate version. After that, the third thing, that is the validation. Yes, again there is one more chance even in the validation, that is once the validation, again you require the final requirements where once it is been deployed or specified and the development is been done and the validation. The thing is, in the validation process you can observe that once it is been undergone the validation process, then only it is called as the final version. Here there is no more changes, hence there is no arrow where you can add on your requirements. Only the requirements can be add on only in the phase of your specification and development, but not in the validation process. So once it has been reached the validation process, later it cannot be changed. Hence you should keep it in mind, only the two versions, that is the initial version and the intermediate version, you can change the requirements, but not in the final version or in the validation process. So this is how the incremental model will be working on. So basically, by seeing the diagram itself, we will get some of the benefits. So very first is the cost of accommodating the changing customers will be reduced. Of course, how much changes, whatever the requirements can be done, what happens, the customers can be reduced. Instead of backtracking and by the scratch, if we are going to change the requirements, it takes a much of the time as well as the cost. But as we have the option here, that is even though in the initial version as well as in the intermediate version. Hence because of these two versions, what happens, the cost of accommodating the changing requirements of the customers will be reduced. This is the first benefit of the incremental model. And the second one, that is the requirements, where it is very easy to get the customer feedback. Yes, as we have the option here, if suppose he require the changes, so it can be taken from this particular model. Hence this is the second benefit. And the third one, rapid delivery and deployment of the useful software. As It is the basically on the basis of the until the whole product is been completed, we need the customer need not wait. If suppose it has been done with the intermediate version also, there will be there are the chances to give and where the customers can give the feedback again. So, hence this is where the rapid delivery can be performed as well as the software can be deployed. So, likewise we can use this software engineering process in a such a way that where it gives the requirements on the basis of the customers. Hence, this is the incremental model where we are going to deal. So, as we know that where there is benefits, there will be also some of the problems. So, in order to discuss regarding the problems, we have the basically two problems. One is the process is not visible. What happens in the waterfall model, there was a clear structure as well as the on each phase there was the documentation. Hence, what we got to know is what is happening actually to the each module you could have been known. But in this incremental model, as this is the model specification where we are going through the different versions, what happens? It does not deal with the visibility of the process, what actually is going on, and as we say that the documentation can be changed either in the initial version or it can be in the intermediate version. So, likewise what happens? There is the possibility. So, each time the software engineer may not maintain the documentation. So, that is why here the process is not visible. The process is not visible, that is the problem where the clear or exact structure what is happening there we may not understand. So, that is the first problem. And what happens about the second, that is the system structure tends to degrade as new increments are added. Yes, of course, if we show much more 100% perfection, what happens? There might be a chances where the product might be corrupted. So, that is the basic disadvantage. So, to our greediness or the selfishness, what we may try, we may customize to the 100%. But when it comes to the end of the product, we may not get the 100% the perfection in the project, where extra add-ons may lead to the a proper software may not work. So, accordingly that is the problem. If the system structure tends to degrade the as new increments will be add on, that is why the product might be corrupted. So, that is the thing you should keep it in mind, we should not add on much. So, there will be a specific limits and accordingly the software engineers will customize the requirements and accordingly that should be working on. So, the next is the spiral model. It's around 15 minutes. So, next model is the third model, that is the spiral model, which is called as the Boehm's model. So, what is there in the spiral model rather than the two models, that is the waterfall model and the incremental model? By looking into the figure, you can observe all the phases we are going to deal is in the form of a spiral or in the form of a loops. So, what does this indicates and why is this structure basically in the form of a spiral? So, in order to, in the previously two models you might have been observed, that is where if we keep on add on, what happens in the very first model where that was basically generally that will be set for the small projects, we cannot be applied for the further. Where in the incremental model furthermore some of the moderations which helped in the coming up by the customizing the requirements, but the spiral model tried to bring those difficulties in the form of loops. So, each loop where it is the indication of the one of the phases, that is why that has been divided into basically four forms. Very first is where they determine the objectives, that is the alternatives and the constraints, and the second phase all about the evaluate the alternatives, identify the resolve risk, and the third one develop, verify the next level product, and finally plan the next phase. So, why is basically that has been divided into four sections in the spiral model? Basically this was named by the Boehm's, that is why it is called as the Boehm's spiral model. So, as I said, the basic objective here is to first to find out the or determine the objectives and find the alternatives and the constraints. In the very first phase we need to find the required objectives as well as where it should be find out the required alternatives as well. One thing is, whenever the customers gives the requirements where the software engineer cannot give the assurance of finding the product in a such a way that there might be a chances of altering the requirements. So, that should be analyzed by the engineer and that should be given with the proper constraints. So, accordingly that is the first phase, that is the where the objective is to find the requirements and to make sure that with the given requirements a proper or software product should be bought. That is the main aim of the determining the objects. And on following that, the second phase, that is the in the very first phase, as I said, all that is the objectives, where in the second phase that goes with the evaluate the alternative. Yes, once you are done with the finding the alternatives for the perspective of the requirements of the software, accordingly you need to evaluate it. So, I have altered it and I will find the product and I will be deployed it. No, we cannot do that. That is why it is the process where the each phases will be backtracked, that is the each loop will be backtracking and then and there only the problems will be sorted out and accordingly that will be reviewed and finally the risk will be found and accordingly the prototypes will be defined and on basis of that where the alternatives will be evaluated by the help of the simulations, models and the benchmarks. The set out requirements will reach the or the software project will reach the this particular requirements, accordingly the operation will be performed. So, what does it evaluate? As I said, we are going to evaluate the alternative and try to identify the risk and resolve the risk. So, that is the second phase where you are going to analyze in the form of a loop where the review process will be happening in order to find the risk analysis. So, you can find here risk analysis with respect to the each of the phase. Once the risk analysis is found, the prototypes will be created. That is why prototype 1, prototype 2 and prototype 3. This process will be happening with each of the loop process until the particular operation or the project should be error free. So, or risk should be resolved. Hence, accordingly the risk analysis will be performed and that will be followed by the prototypes, and after that, that is the way the concept of your required operation will be happening with perspective of the software requirements and accordingly requirement validation and design verification and validation, and that will be product design, detailed design and accordingly that will be followed with the third phase where this particular risk analysis and prototype that goes with the section 2 evaluating of the risk, and the third thing is we are going to develop and verify the next level products in order to development process where all these operations will be performed. That is what we have seen in the previous software process model. Here also we are going to observe, but what happens is in the previously we were not going through the detailed description of the requirements that you need to analyze here. So, accordingly here what happens, software requirements will be taken out and accordingly the next phase will be going with the product design, and once the product design is been done, again the detailed design of the product will be checked out, and in order to that will be followed by the requirement validation. Again once the requirement software requirements you have got, that will be followed by the requirement validation. In the second phase where the product design has been done, again the design of the particular product where verification and validation process will be undergone, and the third phase of the loop where you have observed the detailed design of the code. So, how can we perform the detailed design code process? That is the question, where in order to analyze that we will be undergoing with the 3 tests, that is the unit test, integration test and the acceptance test. So, basically all your unit tests will be undergoing in the form of a small component, where each module will be checked out in the form of a single component. That is why it is called the detailed design coding, and that will be followed by the integration, where each of the unit product or unit components that will be integrated, and again once more the testing process will be undergone and the risk will be checked. And the final is the acceptance test, where the product should be released to the required customers, where it will be undergoing with the alpha testing and the beta testing, once in the perspective of the company or the organization, and the second phase where it deals with the that will be given to the customers. So, accordingly acceptance test will be given and the service will be provided. So, this is how the third phase, the development of the required product, will be done, and finally the fourth one, that is the planning of the next phase. That is again the continuity of the spiral model moves in the form of a where the requirement analysis will be done. And constraints is very much important. On the basis of the constraints itself, we can start working of the required project, and this is how it is unique from the two more software process model, where we have undergone with the waterfall and incremental model. So, basically in order to analyze this, you need to undergo with the spiral model. So, these are the important 3 models where the software process will be working on, and we need to concentrate. Thank you.